Welcome to The Lift with Sheila Robinson-Kiss. Come on in. There's always a special place set aside for you here where you can relax, kick up your heels, pour yourself a nice, refreshing drink, and prepare to be lifted and soar. Thanks so much, everyone, and welcome back. So good to be with you. This is a controversial topic that I'm going to be talking about today, but I want to just really get into this. I forgive you. I do. I forgive you, but I choose not to move on with you. I'll say again, I forgive you, but I choose not to move on with you. And you think about what it takes to get through this lifetime. I think we all need an abundance of forgiveness. But here's the question. Is it truly possible for you to forgive someone in your heart of hearts, to really deeply forgive them, but on the flip side, say, I don't want to move on with you? And a lot of people disagree. A lot of people say no. True forgiveness includes restoration as well. I disagree. I really disagree with that, and I'll explain why later in the video. I think that we can absolutely forgive someone in our heart and soul and just choose not to journey with them any longer. And I think that there are three reasons. I think that there are three reasons that people may forgive from the heart, inside of their heart, and for various reasons choose not to move on. And just a sidebar, I'm getting a lot of really awesome notes lately. I'm so happy people are enjoying the content. I'll tell you something about my videos. A lot of what I'm talking about, this is original content. Yes, I do my research, all that good stuff, but I put my own flavor into it. My thoughts about spirituality, life. I bring it to you from the clinical aspect too. I don't see the point in just making things that just you're regurgitating, you're repeating what other people have said. So I'm so happy you're enjoying the content, and I'm going to stay with it for my subscribers. So back to those three reasons. This is just based on what I've seen, experienced, and researched. So number one, people may forgive you in their heart, but the risk of damage is too great. And they don't want to continue on in the relationship per se. Number two, whatever occurred, they have forgiven it, but it tore down the relationship at the root. The relationship was severed at the root. That's a problem. I'll say more in a little bit about that. And number three, they have forgiven you from their heart, but logistically, we're talking purely logistics in their life. There's really just no natural fit for you any longer. So let's go through those one by one. Let me give you some examples of where I'm coming from with this. Number one, the potential risk is too great. I worked with a woman who had been really, in my estimation, a saint. Her husband had been caught 4 times cheating. That's a lot. That's a high number. And she took him back, loved him, father of her children, wanted to work on it. Then she just hit a wall. And she told him, I love you dearly. I always will. You're my first love. You'll always have a special place in my heart. I can't continue. And he didn't understand that. Give me another shot. Give me another shot. The damage was too great. The damage was too great. Number two, the relationship is severed at the root. Based on what occurred, is severed at the root. Give you another example here. A woman ends up hospitalized. She's running a business with someone she's known for several years. She's hospitalized for over a year. Her friend embezzles $40,000 from the business, puts her in debt. It's a big mess. After the dust settles, she does forgive her friend. However, she cannot continue. They're not shopping together. They're not going on picnics together. Their kids aren't hanging out together. Why? Because the relationship was severed at the root. Where's the trust? Where's the trust? And how much time would it take to rebuild that trust? Did she want to invest that time to rebuild the trust? Evidently not. And then the third point, they have forgiven you. You have been forgiven, but logistically, there's no natural fit. There's no natural fit anymore. Give you another example. Woman is about to get married. She finds out that her fiance and her best friend 3 years prior, they ended up sleeping together. They got drunk. It happened. She searched her heart and soul. She forgave both of them. Decided to move on with the marriage, moved away with her fiance, which turned into her husband shortly after, and basically started a new life. And her friend wanted to really keep in touch. Let's do twice a year visits, let's do this and that. And basically the woman had started from scratch. And she was happy in her new life and really wasn't inclined, didn't really want to put that effort in for these twice yearly visits. So my question for you is, have these people really moved on and forgiven? Have they forgiven from their hearts? Let me tell you something. I worked with all three of them, and I say yes. I say yes, that they really forgave from their hearts. And forgiving from the heart does not necessarily go hand in hand with restoration, taking that physical walk side by side with a person in a relationship. I've said many, many times, if you've watched my videos, and if you haven't, please go back and review or watch them for the first time, that forgiveness really is about letting someone out of the prison of your heart. And I use that analogy because having done some work with folks in prison and having understanding of how expensive it is to keep someone in prison, I draw that same analogy when we keep someone in the prison of our hearts. If they are in your heart, you have to feed them, clothe them, pay for them, give them attention. So forgiveness is about, I'm going to let you out of the prison of my heart, and I give you to God, and I wish you well. I'm releasing this. I know that we're all humans. Human mistakes happen. I choose not to carry the weight of this burden of unforgiveness on my shoulders. So I release you, and I release you to your Creator, and I release you in love. So that's really what forgiveness is. Have I seen forgiveness with restoration? Yes, I've seen it. I've experienced it, as a matter of fact. I love forgiveness with restoration. I had a situation, some things happened years ago. I made a mistake, and my friend some years later came back into my life, full restoration, as if the heavens opened up. And it was beautiful. And I know that as time had gone by, I had truly worked through things. She truly worked through things. Forgiveness is forgiveness. Even if we would have never come together, I believe that there was just a spirit of calm and forgiveness over the entire thing. Restoration is beautiful. Restoration is beautiful if a person chooses that. And let me tell you why you don't want to force yourself on someone. You don't want to push the issue. If someone said, I have forgiven you, I choose not to move forward. You really don't want to be sharing life with anyone, whether it's a friendship, romantic relationship, who really is not inclined to be there. You're just not going to get that vibration, that high vibration that creates the essential bond and health in a relationship. And I used to think, I felt like it was wrong if a person wanted to go their own separate way. They said they forgave without restoration. I felt it was wrong. But as I've matured, I do understand now the necessity. There is a necessity for forgiveness without restoration. I'll tell you why. Because there are certain lessons on our journey we would never get. There's certain types of growth that we need to encounter, and everyone cannot be next to us when we are experiencing this growth. It's, there's times in life where it's just appropriate to go your own separate ways. And my hope is that you do it in love and compassion. I'll give you an example of this. A woman who was like a second mom to me, just near and dear to my heart, and I still love her with all my heart. She was very religious, a very religious person. And as I was coming of age, I was crossing over from being a teen into a young lady, and I really started having a lot of my own ideas about spirituality, about the relationship that was unfolding within me with the God that I was coming to know. So I promptly announced I felt secure in the relationship. She said, I love you unconditionally. And I said, well, I feel different than you do. The God that I'm coming to know does not persecute people for who they choose to love. I don't think people are condemned forever in hell for the mistakes they made. And I did share with her, I think that maybe you could benefit from opening up your mind. And that was it. She cut me off. And that was a harsh lesson for me very early on in life about how to let go. I had to work very hard to forgive her from the heart. Perhaps she had to do the same. I don't know. I'm not in touch. But it was necessary for me, for that relationship to break apart, because had I stayed, because of how close that relationship was, I felt almost beholden to go along with some of these things that I really didn't believe in my heart. I wouldn't have had the opportunity to really blossom into my own person and my own individual and form my close connected relationship with God. And so you can see there's nuances here, and you can love someone and you can forgive them. And I do. If I saw her today, I'd say, hey, oh my God, let's have something to eat. Let's go shopping. How have you been? But you can see where there's nuances where sometimes it is necessary to let go, to move on, and do it in love. I've told people many times, why do you need to blow something up? You don't need to blow it up. Be a classy person. Understand that life carries a trajectory. There's a certain evolution. We're all on a certain track. So again, I feel that it's so important to allow people their free will. I'm for free will. I'm not trying to convince or cajole people into doing things. At one point in my life, I was doing that. It was one of the most painful periods in my life. And if you cannot walk, if you can't walk together in harmony and in full divine vibration, if someone can't come to you with that kind of energy, they shouldn't come at all. If they choose to forgive and move on in a different direction, I feel like that's entirely possible. And sometimes that is exactly what the doctor ordered. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts about it. You can leave comments if you will. I've been getting lots of interesting comments on past videos, and I'm gearing up again for some interesting videos on forgiveness, on life, on relationships. So stay tuned. I hope this has been helpful for you. See you next time.